Howdy, this is Bubba back with another room tour. The audio did not work on this, so having to do a voiceover, but it was just last week, so I still remember everything. So if what I'm saying doesn't exactly line up with what's showing on screen, that is why I came back with a little bit of a cold, so that's why it may sound a little bit different. Now the room, if you want something on the door, you got to do the magnetic wall hooks. If you have a marker board, that will hang on right beside. This is category 4C. 4C, it's standard inside room. I believe a balcony is the biggest waste of money you do on a cruise, but that's a video for another day. As somebody who my goal is just to sleep and shower, and that's all I need from a room. There's two people in this room. It did hold three. I liked it. Like I said, I'm an inside room expert, and I like this one. I think it's one of the better ones I've taken. Probably rank it a little bit below the Venetia. But the reason I like it is it's shaped different. It's square shaped instead of rectangle shaped. Even though it's the same amenities, I like the fact that the square shaped was better. I think for some reason this felt bigger with the layout. Also, deck 9 is the way to stay on this ship. I've stayed there many times in a row. I will not be moving. On this class of ships, you got your nighttime stuff is 6 to 8. Pool deck is 16, 17, so there's no perfect deck to stay on to avoid elevators. You're going to have to take the elevator some or walk a bunch, but if you're somebody that so deck 9 allows you to be in quick access to your room at night. You can go down the stairs from 16 to 9 and be okay. For most people will. And then the only time you have to take the only time you have to take the elevator is really going from 9 to 16 on the main pool deck. This room did sleep more than two people. You see the little bunk bed there. I didn't even realize that, but we didn't even open that. But it does hold the magnetic wall hooks and stuff. You see another little bit of a change. The counter was bigger on this room. I think even compared to like my balcony, it felt like when last time around when I got a good deal on it, felt bigger. It kind of goes on both sides. You got your two standard door there, and then kind of a half door there with the blow dryer is at. So you got your refrigerator, which I don't think you're legally allowed to call a refrigerator, but that's good enough to keep drinks and they were cold, no problems there. This is the Platinum Gift. Chocolate Delight gift, so get that while you still can. Again, this is, as you see, the beds are separated here. Something that I do differently than I think most people is I like to wait till the last day to do my room tour. A lot of people will jump in there and do one day one. That way the room is clean, but I don't see how you can give a review of a room before you live in it. So that's one reason why I like to wait and why you see my stuff hanging around everywhere. But my cousin likes to put this little bit of a window, a little bit of a space there in between the bed and the wall, so he likes to put random knickknacks there. You see there's some USBs in that upper bed there, so we didn't use those because we didn't use the bed, but if you had a kid staying there, that would be perfect for that. That way they got USBs. These little reading light, flexible reading lights that move come in handy if you're trying to read. Even when the lights are on, it gives you a little bit extra light. Plenty of USBs. This ship was made in about 2020 or so. So it's the bigger USBs. It does not have the USB-As, I think they're called. So you want to bring your own little plug-in for that. The telephone's kind of hidden. You won't use that, but you can use your telephone to schedule a wake-up call. It's an automatic thing to do there, so it's something we like to do that usually to give you back up in case your phone doesn't charge or you don't set the alarm on those early port days. Again, you got on the other bed, the other side of the bed, you've got another USB and movable light. The little stand there is good for cell phones, or if you keep some water and stuff with you at night. Now, those things there I carry with me. Not many people do. They're a magnetic shelf. It's good for books and headphones and stuff like that. Plenty of storage space. We do not pack as much as we used to. So there's three different shelves with different drawers and stuff. They got a spot for the shoes down there. the little shelves there do, some of those do fold up, so if you got like long dresses or that kind of thing, you can move those back and you can hang those up without them, touching the ground and stuff. Kind of just another look at the room there. We're about to get into the bathroom part. Another good thing they've got is the lights there where your bed is, so when you get up you can turn the lights on without having to get up across to the other side of the room. And they got some dimmers as well, so that comes in handy. And the three little metal things there do come with them. Most of those other ones are my own magnetic ball hooks. But I think most people watching this has magnetic ball hooks on their carry. This little light is handy, I guess, for the women getting ready. And they got the two shelves there as well. Now the room does not get super cold. I'm somebody that wears a blanket during the middle of summer, and I got a little bit hot in the middle of the night, nothing major, so don't expect ice cold freezing temperatures. Now kind of switching over to the bathroom. All right, now switching over to the bathroom portion. If you've been on this class ship, it's a smaller bathroom. We'll talk about one of the worst things you see. They do have the light that's got a couple different dimming options. So in the middle of the night, if you're old people like us, you're going to want to make sure the light is turned on to the dimmer option, which is the one that's not as bright, because that'll be enough to get you by. Now I'm talking about the worst thing in the entire room. Now a little bit odd to talk about, but the toilet seat, as you see, is really small. So if you're just an average size person, or if you're above average size, it's really uncomfortable. So if you got a big hind end, it's really not a comfortable situation. When you sit down here, now I'm being serious here. The worst thing is that they got the toilet paper and the Kleenex thing swapped. So when you go to grab the toilet paper when you're sitting down, you may have to make uncomfortable motion to get it. So it's really annoying. That was a design flaw. So what you just need to do to fix it, just take one of the spare toilet papers they got there, and move it there for easy access to get to. It's going to be much easier and simpler than there. And of course they do have. So that's just a little bit uncomfortable to talk about, but that is annoying because the toilet seat is small and it's hard to reach the toilet paper. Now these little hooks there, those are not mine. They come standard, so I always recommend one person, and they got 3 more outside, but they got 2 there, which I always recommend having you hanging, something to hanging. So if your husband, like maybe the husband is not as picky and is okay with this stuff just kind of randomly not being in order like mine, you can just hang one there, and that way you free up the shelf space for the other people. Pretty standard shower. I bring my own body wash. They do have the shower door on this instead of the shower curtain, so good water pressure. It gets plenty hot enough and never had no problems. The thing does detach for if you need to reach certain spots you can't get to, it does detach there. Again, this is the square shaped room, which I like it better than the rectangle room. I feel like it felt a little bit bigger. I'm sure it was the same size, but I like the layout better on the square room, which was category 4C. Again, deck 9 I think is the best way to go. I've stayed here about 3 or 4 times in a row. There's no perfect deck to stay at on this ship, so that's why I recommend 9. That way, it gets you, as long as you have some mobility, you don't have to take the elevator unless you're going from like 9 to 16, or after a long port day, if you have to go out from a long port day up to 3 to 9. You can do it. Also, another thing about being on 9, when you leave, you're going to leave on 6, so you can carry your luggage off from 9 down to 6, and it's much, because it's just 3 flights of stairs. If you have as long as you're healthy enough, you can do that. But yeah, this is a good room. That's kind of all the basics. Pretty standard room if you've been on the Mardi Gras room, except for the fact this one is square shaped. Like and subscribe.